Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Sneh. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And just awaiting others to join now. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Very good.
Good. How have you been since the climb? Have you been okay? Any aches?
No, I think the driving back was probably the worst bit because your legs are not stretched. I think Monday I was absolutely fine.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's difficult to do that longer journey after.
Yeah. All right, we've got Jamin's joined. Welcome, Jamin. And just nudge the team that we're live. All right, excellent, guys. So I hope you can see my screen now. I'm sharing the screen. Can you see it?
At the moment, I can still only see you,
Which
is good.
Scroll on your phone to the right.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
You can see it now? All right, perfect.
Yeah.
So, all right, excellent. So we have a few other joiners who've joined us. Feel free to unmute yourselves, guys, and just introduce yourselves as you've joined, so we know who we have on, because I am sharing screen and I won't be able to see. So anyway, welcome. If you're somebody that's joining for the first time, these are monthly calls that we have for people that have signed up to Kilimanjaro. And today I've extended the invites to a few other people. We have some people who have done this in previous years. I've also some people that are thinking about it, contemplating, might be part of another challenge, or want to do it next year. However, I just want to invite people to really get a sense of what these calls are about. And what's really amazing, could I ask you guys to put yourselves on mute if you are not sharing? There's a mute button, and as soon as you'd like to share or introduce yourself, please unmute yourself. So it's amazing how time is flying. I think we're just past the halfway point from when people signed up. So we're now just over 4 months to go. So 4.5 months, exactly 4.5 months from today, we will be all landing in Moshi to get this party started. And I want to share the context of what it's going to be like when we really get connected to what we've signed up for. And also, some of you guys that were on trek with us the weekend gone, there will be as well some fresh experience and memories from, effectively for many of us, our first mountain. So some of you this weekend who did Mount Snowdon, that might have been your first actual proper mountain, but you tell me if it was or it wasn't. So let's get kicked off. So this is the moment I want you guys to get connected to, is standing before the mountain. You know, you're looking up at the task at hand, and we might be a few hours in. It might be even past day one. It might be the start of day two. And there's that moment where you're looking ahead and you're feeling a whole host of sensations through your body. Might be achy legs, might be a headache, might be, something about the weather or the temperature. And this is one of the most beautiful questions that keeps coming up over and over and over again. Please remind me again why I signed up to this. So that's something that almost comes up from any or many of the toughest of us. So I'd love for you guys to all imagine yourself standing there at the bottom of Mount Kilimanjaro, right? And this is a mountain that you have to navigate to reach your desired destination. Standing at the bottom, you're looking up at the looming peaks. You tremble a little inside. You have never climbed a mountain this big. There are moments when we see the peak, the moments when the peak disappears. We see other mountains surrounding us. There are points on the mountain where you can see Mount Kenya in the distance. You can see a couple other mountains that are there as well in the distance. And you can see one other peak of Mount Kilimanjaro. You've never climbed a mountain this big. You've also never walked for 7 days straight. So you've been doing your training. Now, you want to know that training to do a marathon doesn't require you to have run a marathon already, right? The first time you've run that distance could be the first time you're going to run that distance. Similarly, training for a mountain is very distinct and less intense than training for Mount Kilimanjaro, right? Mount Kilimanjaro is less intense than training for a marathon. And so you don't have to have walked for 7 days straight, maybe not even 2 days straight, right? The training that we're doing is designed to have us be prepared for Kilimanjaro. But this much, you've never, no prior experience of being successful at navigating. On day one, it might be dry, gravelly, slippery, or wet, steep parts that meander erratically at the start through the rainforest. On day two, it's going to be through alpine territory. However, this much you have some sort of proof of concept. You've seen it done, and seeing is believing. Others have gone before you and survived. So part of you stands defiantly determined to accomplish this task. No matter how hard it may look or how hard you've heard that it is. They do say Mount Kilimanjaro is harder than childbirth, and Ambika, having done both, keeps reconfirming that. However, remember, it's all doable. We have people today on today's call who've joined us who've previously done this. Let's see who we have joining us from there. We have Charlene on, so hopefully we'll get Charlene to share something at some point. You want to? So I'd love to, Charlene. If you're there, Amir was hoping to join, and Amir was looking to share something about his experience. Are you there? Are you able to unmute yourself? Are you able to share what that first moment standing in front of the mountain was like for you? Just in 2 minutes or 1 minute, what was the first set of thoughts that came up for you as you looked ahead at the mountain?
Hi, gosh, so many feelings I think went through my mind standing there in Moshi with fear, thinking, oh my God, I'm actually going to get to the top of this mountain.
Yeah.
But the journey, I think, was just incredible. It was something that it's life-changing, that's for real.
Yeah, awesome. Beautiful. So I'm going to have you share another bit later on, but I want each of us now that are dialed onto this webinar to have a look at this in particular for us. I want you to think that this mountain is simply something new by size, by number of days, by the category of the task that lies ahead. And so when something is new, how to overcome it, how to triumph over it, how to transform having not taken it on, is going to require you to discover something new about you, something you didn't know you can or cannot do, right? It's not guaranteed everybody will be able to successfully climb it or even summit the mountain. However, I want you to consider this, that many of you have climbed and successfully triumphed over many other areas. Many of you guys are taking this on for other areas of life, such as you want to start a new business, or you want to, taking some new task or a new project, or creating a new job, or transforming the way a current job that you're in is for you. Might be getting into a new relationship. It might be that you're standing for something way bigger and beyond you. Like in my case, I'm standing for transforming health globally. right? There might be people that want to stand for world peace. There might be some of you in the prior call, some of you said you've actually discovered, or you might be at that point in your life where you now want to focus on making a difference. You could be focusing on investing your years and your energy in maybe something that is of a charitable nature or a social enterprise or some form of social impact. Or you might be wanting to stand for something like human rights or having people be empowered to choose and love themselves as they are. It might be about freedom of speech, might be about freedom of their sexuality. It might be about freedom of anything that you stand for, the unheard voices, or what we call your raison d'etre, your purpose of existence. So what we have here on the screen right now, what I'm sharing with you, is I want you to look at, and I want you all to consider that all of you may have already stood before an equivalent and similar mountain. And there were moments when you faced a mountain in another area of your life, and it seemed, to succeed at it, traversing the seemingly impossible challenge seemed something you may not be able to have done. Yet you were able to overcome it. You were able to transform something that looked like there was no light at the end of the tunnel and really bring some great triumph to it. And even when you're faced with those instances, and I'm going to ask you guys to share as you look at the particular wheel of life that's shared on the screen, share something that you may have taken on, which at the beginning or some point through it, you were like, why on earth did I sign up to this? Maybe it was a business you took on, maybe it was a partnership, maybe it was a relationship and you're going through a hard phase and you turn that around. Maybe it was a financial situation, maybe it was a university degree or some phase of school or some other professional qualification. There may have been a point midway through where you said, why on earth did I sign up to this? So those of you many of you may be familiar with this, but what we have on screen here is what's called the Wheel of Life. I think it was originally coined, this term was coined and this imagery was used, I think, by Zig Ziglar. And this is one which has 8 sections to it. And then there are other variations which have 5, 7, 9, or 11 various areas. You can just, continue to dissect and give more labels to other areas of life. So I'd love to hear from some of you on the call to share some such experience that comes up to mind for you. And look at, especially those of you that are now signed up and doing Kilimanjaro, would love to hear from you. So who would like to share? Go ahead, just unmute yourselves, guys.
Where?
Rajan, Nina, Sneh, Abba, Jamin. Love to hear from this circle of life, an area of your life that you've had to previously triumph, which midway through, it was really, really stressful and occurred to you as, why on earth have I signed up to this? Who would like to share?
Yeah, hi, Rajan.
Hey, Rajan, go for it.
Well, mine was not so long ago. Mine was only on this weekend, doing Snowden. like I shared, obviously, halfway through, climbing up the mountain, it was like, actually, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of this?
Yeah. And can you recreate the moment for those that were not with us on Mount Snowdon, a number of the international participants? What percentage of the mountain was it? What was the heat like? What was the part of the mountain? Take us to that moment of when you came up with that.
I think this was kind of at the steepest part,
Mm-hmm.
sort of 3/4 of the way in.
Yeah.
And obviously the heat was very strong. And obviously you're feeling tired. And you see all these other people there as well. And I was just standing there looking at everyone thinking, you know, what is the purpose? You know, I'm doing this even if I get to the top.
Yeah.
You know, what am I gonna achieve? Why am I doing this? Why have I signed up for this? And then you just keep going, and you just keep going, and then you get to the top, and then you never think that again. You know, you never, those thoughts come back again.
Yeah, amazing. So I want you all to consider this, that a lot of our training that we have done, and for those of you internationally, you may be doing this, a lot of the training that we're doing might be on flat ground. It might be treks that have a moderate incline and a few slopes up and down. But what we took on this weekend was really taking on a mountain, and this is a mountain which has a particularly steep incline, especially the route we chose. And those of you that came down the pig trail or the miners route would have had an even steeper decline on your way down. And all of this is specifically for us to slightly overtrain so that when we take on Kilimanjaro, we're quite prepared for this. You know, I know when we did this last year, Mount Snowdon, if you remember the bit where we walk up Victoria Terrace, even before you've entered the gate, many people are experiencing for the first time this constant incline. And before you've even entered the gate, people are feeling spent and the breathless, and they're already like, oh, if this is just it, what do we do? And that was actually Ambika and Kanea. That moment, there was the first sign of rain. It sprinkled on us for a few minutes, and you know, probably it was unfair on Kanea. It was 4 months or at the time, or 5 months at the time, and we didn't have right gear for him, and so, you know, we probably made the right decision then for Ambika and Kanea to turn back and go down. But they folded the deck of cards. They were out even before the gate entering the mountain, the Lamberis gate. So I want each of you to consider, like Rajan experienced this weekend, we're designing this training so that we're all facing a particular amount of adversity. For those of you that are training internationally, if you don't get to climb a mountain, it's not a worry. It doesn't mean that you will not climb this. A great thing you can do though is practice as much of stair climbing or as much of incline. Or if you are going to come down for Brecon Beacons, or if you are going to come down for the Seven Sisters, which is end of this month, then it will be a brilliant opportunity for you to really do that. You don't have to, but it will be a great time for you to come down in September. The weather is cooler, and we intentionally pick places where we stay. We're going to have an option to sleep outdoors. In fact, we recommend that all those doing Kilimanjaro take the outdoors option. We went last year to sleep outdoors, I think in October, where it was much colder. It was wet, so we have tents that will be set up for us. In this particular instance, this particular campsite that we're using, it has hostel type lodges, very similar to where we've stayed this last weekend, but it also will have tents set up outside. And last time we had a mix of those doing Kili, those doing not, and we recommended that all those doing Kili or anybody else just wanting the camping experience to sleep outside in the tents, and it was amazing. So we had a home to go in and cook our food and eat, and then at night we would retreat into the tents. And the experience of sleeping through the night, or if you had to wake up in the middle of the night to go and use the loo or pee or whatever it was, it got you connected to what that will take, so that on the mountain, that's not the first time you're discovering, you know, how to open a zip when you really are busting to pee, a zip of the tent. So you just want to go through that, and we're preparing you as much as we can to get you ready for that. If anything, I will say this, and I say this very kindly, is what we have gotten for those of us who've trained in the UK so far. I'm concerned that the weather has been always either too good, and the worst we've had is heat. We've not had winds, we've not had rain in our face, and training for adversity means walking through where it's raining on your face, and we have the splutter of water on our face, and some of it going down our neck, and maybe getting some of our clothes wet, and still knowing that that's just water, and it touches us, and we get wet, and it doesn't mean anything about it. So equally as Rajan felt the mountain, many of us would have felt that at many points in our life. And sometimes many of us choose to go around that hurdle, or around that mountain, or quit from that challenge. Other times you've chosen to climb or summit or overcome that mountain ahead of you. But it provides you, all of these provide you with experiences and growth that going around never could. You may both reach the same destination if you went around something, if you outsource the problem, but ultimately you reach the same destination. The one that goes over the mountain will never be the same person again. What we're committed to for each of you guys is that each of you experience getting on the other side, each of you experience on the mountain what it will look like in the area of life that you'd like to transform. I'm going to keep remembering and reminding you guys to look at what is it you want to transform. In my case, I really want to take on transforming my business and the financial growth of our business and personal life. That is very crucial for me at this point. And there are moments in my business where I feel I can't keep going at this way because, you know, the scale or the results aren't showing up as soon as I would love them to. So, but I have to learn to walk in that rain, allow that adversity to be with me. So you want to look at that. What's required is what we call resilience. So, you know, I'm going to now open to, we do have, I think, Amir that has joined, or Charlene. I'd love any of you guys to share a moment on the mountain doing Kilimanjaro 2017 where you discovered the true meaning of resilience. Are either of you able to share? And very quickly, because we have 2 minutes for that. Who can share?
I can.
All right, Amir, go for it.
So on summit day, and I don't know, I'm pretty fit, right? I work out a lot, and I gym. I cycle 15-20 miles a day, and like, so I'm like, you know, I'm pretty fit. And for the 5.5 days, I was jumping around in Kilimanjaro, no problem.
Yeah.
And then on summit day, I start
very fit, just for everyone's record.
I start
and he doesn't
on
hide it.
Kilimanjaro.
He will show you when he has to show you how fit he is.
So I start climbing summit day, right?
Yeah.
And instantly, at midnight, like, this isn't going the way I want it to go. I'm starting getting nauseous, getting a headache. It's cold. My toes are cold. My hands are cold. And I think within an hour, maybe, or an hour and a half, I'm already like calling Ronnie, I'm going, man. This is not gonna work. I can't remember what he said. I think he said his usual pump up some message or something. But like, then I was sick, right? And after being sick, I felt slightly better. But it just got, the more I ascended, the colder it became. The more my toes were frozen. And I don't know, I think it's all the training that we did, all the conversations that we did leading up to that day, but also like knowing that my mum had contributed £100 towards the Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did. You know, I wasn't going to make it, by the way, guys. Financially, it didn't work. A lot of my family and friends contributed. But the biggest one was, how can I tell my mom that I didn't summit Kilimanjaro when she contributed £100? So, like, despite right from the onset, I was sick. And I would say throughout the entire summit, I was not the usual Amir, you know, full of vitality, you know, fun, joy. I was just surviving the whole thing. And like to be in that moment to push through for like 10, 12 hours, and get to the top and then also come down. Oh my God. Unbelievable.
All right. Awesome. Amir, that is amazing. I just want people to get connected to that. I'm surprised you haven't spoken about day one. So let's hear from Charlene. Charlene, what was the moment on the mountain where you thought, this requires a keep goingness from me. This requires resilience. This requires me embracing the adversity.
I think it was day 3. I forget the peaks anyway. So when we climbed, it was the day when Simran got quite sick, I think, yeah. Anyway. So,
Where she got
yeah,
left
we
behind,
climbed
right?
and then, yes, when she got left behind.
Yeah, that
And
was
we
day
had to
3
climb
walking to
up.
Lava Tower.
Day 3, yeah. And we had to climb up, and everyone left me, so it was just me and my guide. And I took my time, and next thing I realized it was getting dark, and I really feel uncomfortable arriving in camp in an unknown place when it's dark. And I just got totally paranoid and fearful, and like, why am I doing this? So I had all these, my normal thoughts that usually I was angry with myself. Why did I take my time? Because I was taking pictures and just trying to embrace being in the moment and thinking, gee, will I ever in my lifetime see this mountain in this grandeur again?
Yeah.
So we did arrive quite late at camp. I think you guys had started. I think then you guys even had to send somebody up to look for us.
Yeah, I remember that. So that was a particular day where Simran, we started off, was left first by an hour and a half behind, and it rained on us. And then she caught up, and then we kind of had a mental motivation session with her. And before the end of that day, she overtook about half the team and got to the next campsite. And suddenly we had others left behind, one of whom was Charlene, and that was experiencing going downhill and going through a different type of terrain. And it required added support and us to send somebody back. And we still managed through that. And that was just one of the many days. So I want to share with you guys, as you look on screen, whether through our studies or our career or relationships or our stand for humanity or transforming our health or our finances or on the mountain, through each of them, you might have been mocked or assessed, or you might have failed, you might have been marked down in something. You might have faced rejection. You might have had arguments along the way. You might have had to deal with long distance in a relationship. Or when you're standing for humanity, you want to say, we want to create this, freedom of speech in this country, or, freedom of whatever it is in a particular country or in the world, or transforming health globally. You might be judged. You might be laughed at. You might have your ideas shot down. It will be ridiculous. You will be the weird one for a period. You might try and put your messages or videos or your posts out in social media or in the papers or in mail, and they might get shot down. They might not get responded to. They might not have the flight you expected them to have. And you might have used a lot of your time, your energy, your money in doing that. And you'll require this beautiful secret ingredient called resilience. On the mountain, what this looks like is you're walking, there is heat, there is humidity, there may be rain in your face. And I'm not talking of rain in your face like walking from your house to your car until you pull out the umbrella, or getting into your house when you get some shade. That's not rain in your face. I'm talking of embracing walking in rain. You may or may not get that. You might get away with some really good weather. On day 1, we had people, started raining, and everyone kind of had mentally that, okay, this will go in 15 minutes, and we're walking through a rainforest. So, the trees and the leaves and the shade might protect us somewhat. But 2 hours later, that was still raining. And we were walking through, on the clay beneath us, water, like little streams are flowing down past our feet. And our so-called waterproof boots and our waterproof pants and our waterproof bags, we discovered weren't actually waterproof when water is coming from top down, entering all the open holes. And so I want you to discover and distinguish this, that resilience is not something for us to run away from, or I don't want anyone here to be left with a fearful message. We will hear in a second, ultimately, what Amir and Charlene have to say about doing Kilimanjaro. And there's also a reason why they've joined this morning out of their own will. So resilience. Why do some people bounce back from the adversity and misfortune? And why do others fall apart? Resilience, that secret ingredient that I'm committed to every participant on the mountain develop, so that you get to go and use that back in your life, careers, relationships, and so on. Resilience makes all the difference. It turns out surviving the most difficult obstacles have some good lessons you can use to learn how to be resilient in everyday life. Resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats of significant sources of stress. Benjamin Franklin wrote, "The things which hurt instruct." I'm going to say that again. The things which hurt instruct. The human capacity for burden is like bamboo. far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance, says Jody Picoult. You know, highly resilient people are flexible. They adapt to new circumstances quickly and thrive in constant change. The only thing constant is change. Resilient people do not bounce back from hard experiences. They find healthy ways to integrate those experiences into their lives. Your capacity to recover quickly from difficulties has a lot to do with your long-term success in every endeavor. You will come across obstacles in life, fair and unfair. And you will discover time and time again that what matters most is not what these obstacles are, but how we see them, how we react to them, and whether we keep our composure, who we are being with that adversity and how we embrace it. You will learn that this reaction, how you react to it, determines how successful we will be in overcoming or possibly thriving because of them. Resilient people acknowledge difficult situations. They keep calm. You just got to acknowledge it's raining and it's getting me wet. Acknowledge it. Keep calm. Evaluate things rationally. If you need rain cover, if you need waterproof, if it's really hot, and if you need water, if you need a cap, keep calm and evaluate things rationally so that you can make a plan and act upon it. Steve Maraboli once said, life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. Another quote by Al Siebert, which is in his book, he's written a book called Survivor Personality, Why Some People Are Stronger, Smarter, and More Skillful at Handling Life's Difficulties and How You Can Be Too. He says, the best survivors spend almost no time, especially in emergencies. I want each of you to remember this, from the mountain gone, from the mountains coming up ahead, from the training done. The best survivors spend almost no time, especially in emergencies, getting upset about what has been lost or feeling distressed about things going badly. For this reason, they don't usually take themselves too seriously and are therefore hard to threaten. Very hard to threaten resilient people. You know, they're ready to bring it on. They have a bring it on approach. To be resilient, you must understand that objective is to use what hits you to change your trajectory in a positive direction. Live to learn. Life is not all roses. Sometimes you will feel broken, depressed, forgotten, but persist anyway. We all need something to struggle against and to struggle for. Nelson Mandela once said, do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. In fact, today's Nelson Mandela would have been 100 years old today. Quite timely and coincidental for this quote. Every obstacle you face is the way to advance your next action. Even now, those of you that have joined in might not be doing Kilimanjaro, but are dealing with transforming your job, your career, your health, your relationship status, your finances. What stands in the way becomes the way. I'm going to say that again. What stands in the way becomes the way. Action is the solution and the cure to our predicaments. 90% of life is about remaining calm, says Dr. Chris Feudner, psychologist. The aim in life is not to avoid struggles, but to have the right ones. To have the right struggles, guys, not to avoid them, not to avoid worry, but to care about the right things, not to live without fear, but to confront worthy fears with force and passion. Don't expect a time in your life when you'll be free from change, free from struggle, free from worry. Anyone who does anything worthy will attract critics. Begin anyway. Push yourself to grow, to get better, to dive deeper, to become your best self. I'm going to leave you with this final beautiful quote, which is by Ryan Holiday. He says, cultivate your grit and push yourself further outside your comfort bubble. And remember, Ryan Holiday says this, the obstacle is the way. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. And as we wrap up, what can we learn and what can we do to grow as we prepare for Mount Kilimanjaro? So catch yourself when you come to the so-called giving up points. When you're trekking, walking, if it rains, try to trek, walk, and run in the rain. If we have rains here in the UK or in Zambia or it's cold, so long there's no lightning that is going to probably strike you out, I actually invite you to put on your waterproofs and go and run in the rain. We have equipment for it. There's no such thing as bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. Push past your pain points. Allow your boots to get wet. Allow your socks to get wet. Allow your clothes to get wet. They can all dry. They will recover. You are resilient. go for your personal best. If it's a walk or a run, and say you run 5 kilometers and it takes you, 55 minutes, go and beat that. Go and do it in 50 minutes. In a heated argument, when you're having a breakdown, take a step back and breathe. Embrace that adversity. Search out that adversity. So, look for the challenges that you can sign up to between now and Kilimanjaro. Whether that's joining me on Tough Mudder on 22nd September, which, Abba, if you're coming to London, you can do Tough Mudder, and the following weekend we have Brecon Beacons. Cold showers. I'm going to invite you guys to take on cold showers, which mentally get us okay and ready to embrace the coldness. And after all else has failed, your greatness emerges. So upcoming treks, we have 26th August, Seven Sisters, and Brecon Beacons is 28th to 30th September. So those are all designed to have us develop this grit. I'm going to end with this. Adversity is an event we cannot change or control. What we do control is our response. Champions in sports, in business, and in life use adversity to their advantage. Finally, to wrap up, Amir, Charlene, what 2 words can you say about Kilimanjaro despite all the adversity you faced? Amir, Charlene, go for it. Either of you. We got a minute and this line will cut.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
What 2 words, few words do you have to say about doing Kilimanjaro for the rest of the team?
What 2 words?
Anything you'd like to say about Kilimanjaro despite the adversity that you faced?
Oh gosh, gee, I can't think. Oh.
Is Amr there?
Yeah, I think you just got to be very, very, very open-minded. I mean, you just got to go with a clean slate and yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, I'm mindful of time, so this might be cutting now. Thanks everybody for being on, and it's great to see. I think Grace was able to join us partway through. Great to have Kieran join. Guys, if there are any questions, message me directly, as we will be wrapping up this call now. Bye for now, guys. Have an awesome, powerful week ahead, and take something from here that you can use in your life and your week today. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, Ronnie. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Cheers.